Hey everybody, welcome to what the hell's the name of the show? Insufferable Bastards. My name is Carlos Danger for the purposes of this broadcast, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Brian Spears. Hello, Brian.
Hello, hello.
We're joined making a return appearance after he got us banished into the vape zone by Steel Toe Morning Show. From Mondo Creepy, it's Matt Maisto.
Hello, greetings and salutations.
No vaping, sir. We got in trouble. Don't do that anymore, okay? All right, you've been officially...
I'm a professional.
You've been officially warned. And then the fourth person in this here chat tonight, the mysterious, the lovely, the OG Dabblers Anonymous God, Mr. Kinky Loco. Hello, Kinky.
Hello, hello.
I can tell people that Kinky Loco is not a 68-year-old obese man. That's what I had in my head, but I was wrong. Kinky, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for all the creativity you bring to the Dabbleverse that entertain simpletons like myself. I really admire and appreciate your work, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, not at all. So the topic tonight, we're going to talk about Fred the Elephant Boy. I had to look at my paper there. I forgot what the hell we're talking about because I made this list like an hour ago. But of course, Fred the Elephant Boy passed away, I guess right after Thanksgiving. It wasn't known until I think it was earlier this week, although time is a flat circle in my house this week. So we're going to talk about that. But before we get into that, I mean, we have Kinky Loco here, right? I've had a Twitter crush on him for at least 7 months. And he is part of my favorite, the funniest person in the Dabbleverse for my money is Cardiff Electric. Kinky Loco is part of the Cardiff Electric lore. So I wanted to ask you, Mr. Kinky Loco, and I never get sick of saying Kinky Loco. Cardiff accused you basically of, I guess, petty larceny, of stealing something of his that had to be worth like less than $100. So I don't know if that's 6th-degree larceny. I don't know where it is. It happened in New York State. But I'm talking about you allegedly stole Cardiff Electric's tape recorder. What's the deal?
Well, so I showed up to the Creep Off roast where Cardiff performed. And I had a tape player because I wanted to try to record what was going to happen. Apparently, there was a mix-up and Cardiff thought it was his, and he's been accusing me of stealing it ever since. But I don't know what he's talking about. As you saw, my Twitter picture is me holding a tape player. That's mine. So, you know, I'm hoping we can work it out eventually, though.
And has Cardiff, has he tried to strong arm you in any way? And obviously the potato is really gaining some clout, as the kids say. Has he tried to influence you in any way or enact revenge for his mistaken accusations of theft against you?
You know, as far as I know, he hasn't. But as we both know, Cardiff he's a little bit sneaky. So I have a feeling that once DabbleCon comes around, I think he's got something up his sleeve.
And are you going to? I believe you meant to say Stut Joe Con. I don't mean to. Is that what you meant?
Oh no. Yeah.
Stud John Con.
Stud John Con.
Yeah, sorry. Now look, I screwed it up. Oh man, Cardiff is going to be, and I should say that Cardiff is live right now. So poor Kinky is missing a live Cardiff show to do our crappy podcast. So, first thing we're going to do tonight, we'll get Kinky Loco out of here so he can go watch Cardiff Electric and other people like him who have talent as opposed to this crap. Evil Dead Rise, right? So at our base, we are a horror movie review, TV review podcast. So I just wanted to take a second to play. This was like sort of the talk of the internet. Evil Dead Rise is coming out, which is apparently a movie. I thought it was a video game. That's how out of touch I am. But let's take a moment and hopefully this is transformative content, FBI. Don't give us no strikes. Let's take a look at this video and then we'll, react about it or to it like the kids do.
What's up, sis?
I had the most beautiful dream.
It was the perfect day. And all I could think about was how much I wanted to cut you all open and then climb inside your bodies so that we could stay one happy family.
When I was just a little girl, I asked lost my mother.
What is this, Danny?
I found it.
What will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said
Oh wait, I forgot. We're supposed to be making like like faces, like we're freaked out.
to me.
Open up now.
You don't look so good, Mom.
Nothing a big old kiss from you won't fix.
So loud.
Future's not ours to see.
I'm getting us out of here. I promise.
You'd be a good mom someday, honey bath.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you know how to lie to kids.
Kubrickian.
That's what I was thinking.
Mom?
Mommy's with the maggots now.
What will be, will be.
All right, so that's Evil Dead Rise. Matt Maisto, I know you're an old school horror fan. What are your thoughts on this, I guess, sequel to the remake or updating or reimagining of Evil
I
Dead?
didn't hate the updating, remake, whatever you want to call it thing. And it feels like this is certainly more of a continuation within the same vein. So I'm going to keep an open mind and check it out.
Kinky Loco, are you an Evil Dead 1 or Evil Dead 2 or Evil Dead reimagining fan?
Evil Dead 2, I would say, is in my top 5 horror movies of all time.
Hell yeah. So when you watch
I
that...
will also be keeping it. Yeah, I'll also be keeping an open mind, and because I like the remake. I didn't love the remake, but I liked it enough that I would give this one a chance too.
I think the fact that you could say that it's likable, I think is very commendable, considering the expectations and the shadow that it had to live under, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Oh, we lost Kinky again.
No, Kinky's just going. He does Cardiff for a few minutes, and then he comes back to us. He's probably got the computer up. That's why the phone's working for us.
All right. So let's talk about, now let's go to Fred the Elephant Boy, whose real name was Fred Schreiber, passed away this week. A beloved, not a chatter, but a beloved, one of the old school original, if not the oldest, I believe, whack packers from the Howard Stern show.
In peace.
Oh, I was going to say, El Harible from Bedabbler did a dead-on impersonation of Fred the Elephant Boy, Matt, but that wasn't bad either.
Thank you.
So Brian was the one that wanted to put this show together this evening. Brian, what was Fred the Elephant Boy in terms of Whack Packer lore? Do you know if, in my memory, I thought like the first official Whack Packer was Crackhead Bob, but I'm not one of these people who can remember like every episode of The Simpsons, but I know it's a good show.
No, he was definitely
overall.
before that because he was with Captain Jenks. And before them, there was it was those two weird ones. I forget. Maybe Kinky knows.
There was Quentin the Stutterer.
Yeah,
Kinky's on the run from Johnny Law. That's why he keeps going in and out. He's got Cardiff hot on his ass right now.
And then, so he wasn't maybe the first whack packer, but I think he was one of the ones that he was like a constant back then. And before the Channel 9 show, I don't think I ever saw him. So his first episode of the Channel 9 show, he does a little spot with Sam Kinison,
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Jessica Hahn. The other thing about Fred was he was like a fan of the show. He left and fought with the show a lot. So he would leave and come back, say that I'm not doing this show. Like he like kind of had morals in the whack pack. He was one of the few whack packers that had like pride.
Let me just interrupt. I sent Kinky a message saying we'll have to try again another time because when he was coming on, there was a lot of
choppiness.
Yeah, and the feedback from his cell phone. Not sure what exactly that was, but anyway, sorry, Kinky Loco. It was an honor to have him on for 5 seconds.
Just to have that was enough. That was cool.
All right. So go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
What I was going to say is getting back to Fred, the Elephant Boy. I think for me, the first time I really heard his voice and became aware of him was probably the best Stern project of that era, which is Crucified by the FCC, which is Theater of the Mind. It's not a Channel 9 thing. It's not a pay-per-view event. And particularly the bit that stood out was the Stutterer's Christmas Carol. It's really the first time I think I really recognized the voice. Like the next time I saw him on Channel 9 or heard him on the show.
All right, so we've been blabbing enough, and sorry for the starting and stopping, but that's why we wanted to record this as opposed to doing a live stream. Kinky Loco sent me a message. He's having internet problems. I apologize for screwing up your flow. I'm like, no, that's the flow.
It is flow.
Yeah, you're not screwing anything up. All right, so Brian, the first thing you had sent me, and Brian picked all these clips. He's our curator tonight. This is one. It's self-explanatory. It's Fred's first phone call to the Howard Stern show.
Just shut on my radio.
All right. What is that, an Italian accent, Gary?
No.
I smell ratings gold with you, Fred.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
See?
I love you, Howard.
Hey, I love you too, man. This guy's perfect. Now, what is it, some kind of speech defect you got?
Yes, ever since I was born.
What?
Ever since I was born, I had this problem.
Ever since you were born, you had this problem. I got you. I'm catching on to your lingo.
I used to be a stutterer, but with therapy, I don't stutter no more.
You don't stutter no more.
Yeah, so at least I got past that.
Let me see this letter. I work with this guy called Fred. He's a nice guy, but he has two problems. He has a severe speech impediment, and he's a virgin at 30 years old.
You're kidding.
Yeah. So you got a job, right?
Yeah.
You should be able to get laid. I bet you I could get you.
Yeah, go to MK's.
Yeah. You'll find a girl there. Just don't talk a lot.
I have to be the strong side type.
Right. All of a sudden, Joe Walsh is looking coherent. Hey, you see, this is like a regular guy, regular intelligence.
Probably would love to have a family, and women are turning him down.
Yeah. You got to know he'd be devoted. Well, I guess he's kind of, it's sort of embarrassing to go around.
You stay at home. Don't have mystery night.
That's right. Don't go to MK's. Yeah, I don't know about this guy. How am I going to get him a date? Listen to him.
30 years old? You make a good living?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I work for the FDA.
Can you stop it for a sec?
FDA, yeah. He said the FDA. Go ahead, Matt.
I just want to say that this is one of those things where, back in the day where Stern really shined because he had an ear for this type of unusual talent for the show in a way that nobody else really had before. And then everybody else that did it afterwards was just always looking for somebody weird. And it wasn't because Fred was weird. It was his personality. Yeah. It was the voice. It was the combination of it. It was genuine. Exactly.
And the fact that he has on a person who can't speak clearly on the radio and interviews him at length is, that's definitely unique.
He's guilty of it himself nowadays. Like he'll almost invent a whack packer.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Tan Mom for the years that she's been on has never been a whack packer.
Right. Yeah. So she was awful.
That's why I specified for that era.
And this is what's so nice about it. And these are like genuine fans because there was nothing you could get. Like, they weren't like now you become a whack packer or, you're getting a cameo. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's something a little nostalgic about Fred. And also, listen, hey, I was picked on. There's something fun about everyone laughing at him a little bit, but he's laughing at it too.
Yeah, his genius is because there are people who say today, and you'll see him in chat sometime if somebody's doing a stream of this Howard Stern related stuff. And I think they're more trolling, but they'll be like, Howard, all he did was pick on people with mental deficiencies, or they were clearly challenged, and that was considered funny in the 80s or 90s. But no, the whole genius here is that the fans love Fred. Fred's laughing. There's an admiration that continued. I mean, the fact that we're talking about him after he passed away says something. And the fact that old school Howard Stern fans, there was this outpouring of support because, he becomes your friend when you're driving in your car every single day. It's not really about making fun of the fact he spoke differently,
But like getting back to the whole thing about how it wasn't about him being mean. It wasn't about Stern exploiting people. I mean, he did exploit these people. Let's be honest. But it wasn't in like a cruel or ill-intentioned way, if that makes sense. Like I remember when I got the Crucified by the FCC tape, I played that Stutter a Christmas Carol bit for my best friend in high school who had a stutter, and he loved it.
All right, so let's go on to another one here. This is Brian. You picked Captain Jenks versus Fred the Elephant Boy. What is it about this one that you remember?
This was just old school. This is, again, it's not even, I'll be honest, it's not the greatest clip, but it's just that era where these were the two guys. This was before Crackhead Bob. So this was, I mean, Crackhead Bob might have been around, but these two guys were like what started the Whack Pack.
Yeah, this is 94. I would have thought this was way earlier.
But so I think he's interviewed for the book. So they were getting interviewed for the book, and Jenks was Fred was being interviewed, and Jenks, I guess, made some phone calls to his mother, and that really ticked Fred off, because that's where Fred had like morals. You don't mess with my family. Like, you can make fun of me and you can be a jerk to me, but I don't need this crap. And that's where, like, this is another time he's like, I'm done with the Whack Pack. This is like one of the first time he says, I'm done with the Whack Pack. So he it was Fred always did his own terms with the show.
So you said, okay, I accept it and goodbye.
Yeah, that's it. I just want to get rid of
But let me ask you something, Fred. Is there nothing he could do to apologize to you?
Maybe time.
Is that Jenks right there?
That's Jenks.
I don't think I've ever seen Jenks.
Time.
He doesn't look like that now. He looks a lot like me, but
nice. Yeah, he's of advanced age, I would think now.
Shut up his act, because I'm not, other than that, I would have nothing common. I don't drink like he does. I don't smoke pot like he does.
I don't smoke pot, Fred.
Okay,
Fred, you know what? Okay, well, you want to go into some stories? We can go into some stories. When Fred started hanging out with the folks at school.
I'm not perfect.
See, Fred, if you want to go into this, we can go in. Fred, I have been a good friend to you, all right? I've been a good friend to you. I can't believe that you were doing this.
I feel like I'm like with two
Jackie, come on,
Fred, you know what, Fred?
Wait, they're not going to hear you if you talk. What?
Sorry, but Jackie cackling in the background. That's what makes this clip.
Always is the glue. It's the glue.
What's great about this is real. Like, this is like, if things are scripted now or things are worked out and things are programmed in there, this is 100% real.
I thought Jenks was working it a little.
What was that?
I thought Jenks was working it a little, like deliberately trying to get under his skin.
I'm sure he's working to get under his skin, but this is like a real, like, Fred is really offended. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Fred wasn't expecting him to go all in like that.
Yes. I love the leather jacket of Jenks there.
I have been one of your good friends.
All right, okay. You know what I think?
And I already told you I'm sorry. I already told you I'm sorry.
Okay,
What story do I have on Fred?
Tell me,
No, you don't have it. He's a clean slate.
to be embarrassed about.
I'm sorry. I told you all that on the phone the other day. I told you.
For those of you listening for the first time, there's something called the Whack Pack. All the imbeciles that listen to my show have formed together.
found each other.
There are certain people who have risen above the regular listeners and have become something of celebrities on the show. Elephant Boy, obviously, because of his virginity at one time and his speech impediment. And, of course, Captain Jenks because of his phony phone calls to Larry King and all these various people.
I have a phone call here.
Did you make a phone call?
Yeah, I have a question to Jane. If and when how it goes off the air, what kind of life do you live? Because it seems to me that
you will.
Your life, no. Your life is centered on how it goes up the air.
I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt, but one thing I remember, if you listen to Howard Stern every day, eventually you could understand almost perfectly what Fred was saying.
Yes.
It's hard jumping back in because I have no idea what he's saying.
I bring up a clip in a little while. Like, there's one where it's Robin is like Robin was awesome at translating. Like, she got it right away. Like, and that, so it was an acquired ear that you grew when you started listening.
An acquired vernacular. All right, let's go on to another. I'm going to stop sharing that one right now. Go back to StreamYard here. All right, so that was Captain Jenks versus Fred. Next up, Brian, you had, or actually I just put this in any order because you said it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Elephant Boy calls a taffy shop. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, this is probably the only recent thing that I really put like from the serious years, because his big thing in serious, he had a fight with High Pitched Eric, And I hate High Pitch Eric. I think he's vile. I think he's disgusting.
In the serious years, he had a fight with High Pitch Eric.
Yeah.
Is that where they wound up on People's Court with
Yes.
the slow Wendy, the slow person, whatever they call her now?
Yes.
Okay,
So, and
gotcha.
I personally just hate. I don't want to even give. I wouldn't want us to even talk about High Pitch Eric and give him that satisfaction.
I'm sure he's watching. Hey, but we paid him for a cameo back in the day. That was Joe Greenberg.
Yeah, I would never have paid, because that's the first thing I think I said to Joe was like, "Hey, man, High Pitch is like, dead weight. Why are you giving that guy money?" So that actually pissed me off.
He smells so bad in person. It's vile.
I saw him in person once at Killers of Comedy. He was just wandering the halls.
Yeah, I was in your store yesterday, bought some taffy, and now it's stuck in my mouth, and I sound like a dope.
All I can tell you, ma'am, is you'll have to call the court.
Don't call me ma'am, stupid. I'm a boy.
Pardon me?
I am not a ma'am. I'm a boy, stupid.
I understand you're a foreign student. I have foreign students that come and work for me.
My mouth is all sticky.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm speaking like a retard. What are you going to do about it?
I'm not saying that, ma'am.
I'm not a ma'am, you woman, you. What should I do?
I'm going to give you a number to call.
Just remember, I am a guy. I have a penis. I have balls.
Okay, you're a boy. I thought you were a girl.
You insulted me.
I'm not doing anything.
I am hung like ours. If I am Korean.
I understand you're a man. I understand you're Korean.
My mouth is all fucked up because of your taffy. I don't know what to do.
I'm telling you what to do. Call this number.
How do I get this fucking taffy off my teeth?
1-800-9.
Don't yell at me, you bitch, you asses.
Good morning, Freeland. Just speaking.
I mean, man, listen, we can go on to the next clip. I mean, that's just it just keeps going, but it's freaking.
That's
hilarious.
comedy gold. It doesn't get any better than that.
All right, so like I'm one of these wrestling guys. Don't tell me it's not real, but do we know? I guess like now, like Jackie was passing him jokes, of course, to Howard the whole time. I never do that while I was listening, but now like the show's so heavily scripted, and we've on the internet. I mean, just the other day, Cardiff had somebody on his YouTube show who said he would go to like a guy who would assign these callers to various radio stations around the country, that all the calls were fake. I'm trying to say, does that sound like a fake one? That sounded pretty real to me, but I don't know.
I mean, listen, it was during I'm pretty sure it's during the satellite years. So I will say this, Richard and Sal might have helped out with this one. You know what I mean? Like, but that's a fake.
But I mean the caller side, the actual person, was that a taffy shop?
That's real. That's definitely real.
Okay.
That's real. Because she's still trying to be polite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and like in that Midwestern polite way, like,
Fred was great.
That was a really good performance. Would have been much bigger, or the conversation would have been much shorter.
Yeah.
Just would have hung up. I was going to say, that was a good performance by Fred, too. I mean, he sold that really well. That was freaking hilarious. All right, so next up, Brian, you chose Fred at the Billboard Awards. Is this something from your memory, Brian? Were you getting these? Did you just like, how did you choose these?
Well, again, I went and just typed in Fred the Elephant Boy, but I remember this because he goes in a bubba booey to you all at the end. So I did remember this one, but also a lot of people had said like he had done a couple speeches. I think he even did one of the governor one. No, that might have been Kenneth Keith. No, I think he
did the governor.
Yeah, and then
when he announced he was running, I think.
Yeah,
that might have been brought up for the New Year's. Was that on the New Year's Eve stuff we watched the other day?
And then what I like about this one is Robin is the interpreter. Also, a little side note, because we have video, so for our listeners, it'll be harder, but I'll describe the video. What is it? The Ed Lover guy and the other guy, they had, I never had MTV. So they had
the guy and the other guy.
Well, Ed
Lover and the other Dr. Dre.
Okay. They had a radio show. So on stage there, they come out and they try to take the mic from him. And you'll see Lisa G is with them because she was part of their show at the time. So a little Stern
trivia.
Yeah.
Perhaps Lisa G's first encounter with the Howard Stern universe.
And again, this is nothing more than he does a speech and it's like, they wrote the speech out for him to go do. No one. And also, I don't know if it, because I kind of try to make it short for us. It's mentioned that no one else accepted these awards. They just kind of went up on stage and read the winner off, and that was it. Fred was the only one that did an acceptance speech.
So he's a proxy for Stern getting an award. Is that what we're
Getting
gonna
an
watch?
award.
All right.
And the funny part is Robin, I think the part I gave you is Robin trying to, like, I want to figure out what he's saying.
All right, here we go. From 1994, according to this YouTuber.
Oh, thank you. On behalf of Howard, many people are starving in Russia.
Oh, okay, I got that part.
Say it.
Many people are starving in Russia.
On behalf of Howard.
On behalf of Howard, many people are starving in Russia. I don't know
Right.
what that means.
Well, wait. On behalf of Howard, he's accepting. Now he's saying many people are starving in
there's
Russia.
a break there.
There's a break if he could talk like a normal person.
I didn't know there was a first. I thought it was one sentence.
No.
And all you do is to celebrate.
Wait a minute. All you do is to celebrate?
And that redhead, if you're watching the video is getting a little choppy. I was on with StreamYard all week. They're customer service people. But that was the redhead was Lisa.
Yes, Lisa G.
Okay.
That's right.
That's
Here they are. There are many people starving in Russia, and all you do is celebrate. It was a political speech.
Okay.
What is it?
Wasn't that supposed to be Rwanda?
Yes.
No, but it's a Russia on the paper.
No, it says Rwanda.
Russia. Yeah.
Unless somebody rewrote it, it was supposed to say Rwanda.
Gary, you rat.
Wait a minute. I didn't get that.
You want to interpret? Go ahead.
I said 131 people crashed.
Oh.
What do you say? Because
131 people crashed.
Oh, 131. I'm talking about the airplane crash.
Okay.
You know what? I don't even know what he said. Yeah.
That was a little muddle.
His speech is a train wreck, not a plane crash.
He says that was a little muddled.
A little muddled. A little muddled. What were the exact words you said?
And it looked like Jackie or Fred, they were throwing rolled up pieces of paper
Rolled
at
up
Fred.
piece of paper at him.
131 people crashing on an airline.
All right, 131 people crashing on an airline.
Airplane, and all you think you can do is to drink and make merriment.
And all you people do is drink and make merriment.
See, this was funny.
Wow, who knew? It's a political speech.
Oh, boy.
I condemn you. How I condemn you. Good evening. This is aggressive.
I condemn you.
I condemn you, Howard.
I condemn you. We condemn you. Howard condemns you. And then what did you say?
This is outrageous.
This is outrageous. Boy, that's a tough one.
Oh.
That's a tough one for you while you're yelling.
Yeah,
Why do you always start yelling?
To stress the point.
Right. Make the point. You want to make
Anytime somebody crashes a speech like this and there's another guy trying to grab the mic out of your hand, you've won.
Yeah, that was good. Another good performance by Fred. Maybe that's what set him apart. I mean, some of the whack
And
packers.
he did finish the clip saying Baba Booey.
Oh, sorry. You want me to go back and play this?
No, but he does say Baba Booey.
Oh, at the
Baba
end
Booey.
when they're okay on the stage. Like Hank the Angry Dwarf was instantly likable, right? And then he had all these facets of his personality that were rather fascinating because you upon first impression you just think he's just this angry drunken dwarf, but he had an encyclopedic knowledge of music and things like that and was an intelligent dude. But Fred's, like, I guess his power was the fact he was not he was sort of like Stuttering John, but I dare say he was funnier than Stuttering John. Sometimes gave a better performance.
He also is doing all of this with a smile on his face. You never again, that's where it's like he's fun. He's in on the joke. Like he knows.
And he's nice about it, which is something John never was.
Yeah.
So another one here is, let me see if I can grab it here. This one is titled Elephant Boy and Abby XXX Return to Discuss Money from October 1st, 1999. Is there anything you remember or any reason?
I mean, this one was, he I didn't bring up, he made some weird stuff. He did some weird stuff in his personal life. He made, other people.
Into swingers and all that kind of stuff.
Didn't he eventually come out as gay?
I played yeah. I mean, he had gay experiences. He was bi, he said.
Yeah, and then he eventually said he was asexual. I think he was on a podcast within the last couple of years where he said he's asexual. But all right, so you're cutting out a little there, Brian, but hopefully.
Oh, all right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was just a slight delay. I think it's okay.
And this is more about Stern, where I picked it up. Is Stern gives the rant hey, I'm not going to give you guys press because you're taking advantage of my show and my people. You actually sent me a note. You said this isn't a great clip, but it shows Stern being protective of how his show and his characters are used and that he sticks up for Fred. So that's a good setup right there. Sorry, I forgot. I didn't see that you had sent me that. I copied that over and didn't read it.
public, then get rid of it. In the contract,
If your
take
mother-
it off the web.
If your mother ever saw this tape, wouldn't she be upset?
Oh yeah.
It would
Of course.
kill her.
I don't say this.
Wait, so what are we saying? Did he make a
He made a
pornography
sex tape
with Abby?
Yes, but
I don't
she's
remember this
doing
at all.
things.
I
to
remember
him.
that.
She's doing things to him. Like there's no.
And it's
you know,
not
he's
successful?
wearing women's clothing.
Oh,
He's
okay.
using a marital aid.
It got weird.
Yeah, it was very weird, and he didn't get
Like the
paid
Bigfoot thing.
for it. And they want to release the video, and Howard's like, "No, you can't release this unless you get money." Like,
Oh,
you
you're
have to
saying
get
you're
paid.
saying Fred didn't get paid. I
No,
stepped
he
on you.
never got paid.
Okay.
And actually, after this, Fred leaves the show for a while. Actually, misses a Mick Foley interview because he stopped doing the show for a while because he needed to like let his life get back to whatever it was.
Got a
Like
little wacky.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't say there's anything wrong with porno. I just say get paid for it.
He doesn't even want it public, Howard. This is all he's being dragged into this.
All I'm telling you is the following. That's for Elephant Boy to decide. But let me tell you something.
He just said it
Yes. Let me tell you something.
in his own way.
If I give out this website where Elephant Boy's tape of him in women's stockings with you doing things to him, if I give that out on the air, right?
Okay.
You guys are going to make money. I know it.
He's going to make money. He's
No,
getting 34%.
not according to this contract. 34% only if you guys agree to it that I did the right thing.
No, we agree.
Is it from $1 gross or is it part of the
It's from net.
no, from net? This is unacceptable.
They have to, Howard, there's
Unacceptable.
bandwidth and things you have to pay for.
I don't
have control
care.
of that.
He wants part of the gross.
I don't have part of that, Howard.
You guys can write
They
in.
have
marketing
expenses
tool.
before they-
Elephant Boy, my suggestion is that this contract is worthless.
Look at this, Howard.
What is that?
Well, look at.
Show me what that is. Show me that document.
What is that?
Give me that.
I had Perry to see.
Elephant Boy, what does this say here?
Just check those out. It's not what I said before. It's different names. See.
Listen, I am not a lawyer.
I know. Neither.
You
am
got. I was not a part of this. All I am telling you is,
Well, that's a handwritten.
I don't know. Elephant Boy.
That was from Doc, just for Gary to see. Actually,
Doc is a very nice guy. You're a nice guy. Everyone's a nice guy, but Elephant Boy is never going to see a penny.
he will absolutely. See.
No,
Why
not
would I
based
come
on that
back here
contract.
today with a contract.
That is pretty cool. Howard standing
Like,
up.
I mean, it goes on a little, like it repeats itself and they get into another fight. The one thing is, I don't know, because there was another one right before this. Like, someone sent the tape to, I think Fred didn't know this was going to be sold. Like, he thought he was going to, this was going to be a private thing. And then it gets out there. And then again, they want to make, so again, you could see this is the one time Fred's not having a good time.
His whole mannerism was different there. Head down, hangdog look. Yeah.
And as much as, and again, this is my issue with like the new Stern, if you will. This is when, again, Stern he was still a little humble himself. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying he was out there.
He was still the
hanging
guy
with
that
his
was living
fans.
in the basement in his house in Long Island, avoiding his wife and family.
He left the show a bunch of times. He always, would call up and say, to this day, he wasn't on the show. And it was over political reasons. He didn't like Howard Stern's politics, but he also.
Oh, really? Like Fred was like a conservative dude?
Oh yeah, he was a big Trump guy, and and like he didn't
I'm
like
with QAnon.
And I don't think he liked all the talk about the COVID, but the gentleman that Fred was, he called them and let them know, I don't want to be a part of the show anymore. So,
Here's
like,
one, and I
that's
guess this is a famous one. Fred poops his pants.
Yeah, this is. See, now again, this is all radio and theater of the mind. This is a great appearance. Like,
And Fred is in the backstory is Fred was going to meet Gary somewhere. They were doing an appearance together or something like that. And
He went- no,
Fred
no, no.
pooped his pants and showed up sort of smelly.
And High Pitch Eric was there also. And it wasn't his appearance. Gary was doing an appearance, and he would go to.
Oh, he
if
would just
could
show
get
up.
to close by. Gary, he would always go to Gary's appearances.
You know, I tried to look for Fred's obit online, and I couldn't find anything from November with his first and last name. So, because I don't even know where he was probably a tri-state New York guy, right? He had to be the tri-state
must
area
be.
if he was on all
I
the
was
time.
thinking
Yeah.
Queens.
Okay. Here's this one.
Wait, were you standing or sitting when this occurred?
Standing.
Standing.
That's key.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because Fred, even though you went to clean yourself up, right, some of it made it down your leg, didn't it?
I noticed it. I have been trying to clean that up.
How do you not notice it?
I know I try my best, but I didn't have
like I said, I sucked on back.
Wait a minute, though.
Was it diarrhea?
I little outside.
Well, wait a minute, Howard. If he had tried to clean himself up.
Wait.
Wait a minute. No.
I didn't have any equipment. I didn't have any equipment. I mean,
You're at the
what
supermarket.
can you stand? You know,
I'm
I
getting to
just
that.
want to watch.
I'm
I
gonna get to
kept
everything.
myself.
But I'm telling you, he did this
There was
again.
no,
Yes.
there was no paper towel. You know, I tried my best.
Did it occur to you to maybe buy a new pair of underwear at the supermarket, or a pair of pants at maybe next door, or?
That area is more industrial. That we, you know, there was nothing there.
So I love how it's almost like a press conference for a guy who had an accident in his pants. And there's something endearing about Fred when he gets that a little whiny, he has that intonation where it's comical, and you feel for him. You're like, oh yeah, I've been there, Fred. Come on, I identify with you. We've all been there.
And I don't know if it's the name. I think it was Adrian. There was a girl from the street team, the K-Rock street team. So she was there witnessing all this too. Like
she's like a 20-year-old college student.
Yes. And then there was a dude with crap all over his sock.
And she's just looking for college credit.
Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome. So, Brian, those were all your clips. I did pull.
I was just going to mention, I didn't pull it. I'm not a huge, and I actually listened to more of it afterwards, after I sent you stuff. And I don't want to be that guy sending you a clip. And I'm not a big wrestling fan, but there's a lot of Fred with Mick Foley, Cactus Jack. Fred
was a monstrous wrestling
He was at
guy.
Mankind's wedding.
Oh, no kidding.
Like, they were that close and they were that friendly, and he got him in big trouble because the two rules Mankind had was no strip clubs and no porno, no affairs with his wife, and he could do anything else he wanted. And he got caught one day watching Bongo Fiesta, and his wife like flipped out on him, and he never returned the tape to Fred, and Fred would always call him like, where's my tape?
It's a collector's.
So it's worthwhile checking those out, but also those were so long, it was hard to like.
Well, that's the thing about
you're better off listening to the whole episode.
No, yeah, I think you did a really good job choosing these, but that's the thing with old school Stern. It's like it's hard to just clip it because these are hour meandering conversations there, and then if you just clip it, you're missing the context of it. So I just wanted to say that B Dabbler El Harible, he did a good live stream today, like an hour or so before we went live. It's Friday, January 6th. And he had Lorenzo Oriolo on. And in the second half of that one, he did a bunch of, he did like a rare one where it was Stuttering John sort of arguing with Fred a little bit. So I thought that was really good. Also, of course, patreon.com/Ray DeVito. He's our fiscal agent for this podcast. So I didn't really listen to these, but I did go and find Fred was on the Stuttering John podcast. Oh, wow. And I thought we would just listen to a second of that, considering we are Dabbler curious and Dabbler adjacent, if I can bring it up real fast. So this is from June 4th, 2019.
So now we go. Oh, and as we're getting Fred on, we have to talk about AJ Benza.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about him with Fred.
Okay, Fred the Elephant Boy Schreiber. Is it Schreiber or Schreiber?
This is a drunk Stuttering John.
Hey, Fred, how are you?
Yeah, how you doing, John?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
I miss you, Fred.
Yeah, I miss you too. With that quick podcast with Cool, back in New York. So it was a good show back then, and I'm looking forward to this.
Yes, and Fred, yeah, no, I speak Elephant Boy. Fred said that we just did the show and we saw each other on Grillo's podcast in New York, and it was great to see me. Isn't that what you said, Fred?
Very good.
See?
Yeah.
Fred, how did
you right
I
in the
discover
feels.
you on the Stern Show, or did somebody else?
What was it?
Oh, I stepped on John, but John says, "Hey, Fred, didn't I discover you?" Which is typical Stuttering John.
Also, you'd think after 30 years he'd know how to pronounce the guy's name.
Yeah. His memory is a little shot after a bunch of Coors Lights. Coors Light will do that to you.
back in 1988, Howard did died that with Tammy Terresco, and then me and a friend
Did you say my
decided
name?
I should have a died that I was more pathetic than she was.
Yeah, but how did?
And so I wrote a letter to Gary. Gary gave me a phone call a couple of days later, and then Howard called me the next day, and on that Friday I was on the show.
Oh, okay. So it was Baba. So you sent the letter in, and Baba Booey actually read it.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy.
So that was that. I just wanted to play that real fast. And then second to last here is John mentioned Elephant Boy and he going on Grillo's podcast, and that's called Aftershock or something like that.
I don't know shit about that either.
Yeah.
Fred was so into wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
brought,
mean, he
you
was
brought
like
Mick Foley up.
Yeah.
I remember that.
But I remember like Fred got to like sing the national anthem at a wrestling match somewhere. I don't even remember where. We were like some little rinky-dink place.
I see, yeah.
And like the wrestlers must have just started. It was like their first week wrestling. I had to go and tape Fred sing the national anthem at this like rinky-dink wrestling place.
Yeah.
Did you come with me to shoot the Virgin Mary thing?
No, the one in Jersey.
John, the only one that sounds inebriated.
That was great. No, who went with you? I feel like it was Pete Mastriani. It was our old camera guy.
Oh, because that was like
Maybe
everybody
not.
says it's one of their favorite Stuttering John.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that story. Oh, they was
John is
everyone
like-
said they saw the Virgin Mary and
Did you say something, Brian? I can't
Yeah.
see you guys when I share. I'm sorry.
John and Jackie seem to have this revisionist history, but John especially, like, oh, didn't I do this and didn't I?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, listen, I don't let those.
Everybody said that was the funniest thing the Stuttering John ever.
But it's
I
like
mean, that's
you're-
the whole Dabbleverse. That's the whole origin, and that's the whole reason the Dabbleverse exists, exactly for that reason.
like, John, I do love you. You will always hold a place in my heart. But you did, you know,
You're full of
you didn't
shit.
come up with that much.
From Brian, who has really never ventured in. Not
I
an
was
Uncle
a
Rico-
writer.
Not an Uncle Rico fan, not a listener of WATP. So for Brian to say that about Stuttering John, that is the truth, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm a fan of Shuli Anonymous.
Have you visited that? What I don't know. Did you see? I guess
I checked it every day. I have screen grabs from it.
No one's gonna listen to this or watch this at this deep in. But somebody took. It was on our podcast. It was my interview.
Yeah, man.
With Shuli, and they cut it up. And I had said in our last episode, Brian, we went over like the most watched of the year. That Shuli one was like 100 times. It had 8,000 views.
Our local reporter.
Right.
Yeah.
I had mentioned that. Well, I didn't embed it on my day job because Shuli had the phone at an angle where it was sort of, it was like aiming at his crotch at first. That was fine, but then he's rolling a joint during it. And so it got 8,000 views. I put it on, and it made it to Dabblers Anonymous the day I published it, and people said positive things about it. And now that there's this sort of anti-Shuli thing, it made it back to, but it's edited as Shuli like scratching his scrotum at one point. I don't remember that happening, to be honest with you. And they made it seem like I was victimized by Shuli. So, one thing about Shuli's Anonymous, I still like Shuli, but like that guy, he's in all the chats. It's funny. That made me laugh out loud when I saw that they had re-edited my video to do that. So.
I
can't
rarely
complain.
go back and listen to the Artie shows anymore, or at least a certain era of Artie shows, because I think they're just too mean, and you're just sucking into like
watching Artie die.
Yeah, but there is, and it is one of his messed up times. Artie versus the Hack Pack. Anyone look for that on YouTube? I think it's like a 2 hour or an hour and 20 minutes.
Well, it gets brought up every day on. It's since Shuli reappeared on the scene. There's people like you who never gave him a chance, and they always bring up Hack Pack.
But it's good radio too, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Whatever
it was great radio.
It's great radio.
I think Shuli would admit that.
Yeah, like it is so good, and it's funny, and like, oh my goodness, like when it is so good. It is so good.
Yeah, I'm sort of wondering because the Dabbleverse it does feel. I can't.
Dare I say that was probably the last time Stern was real? When all that was happening. Yeah.
But I was thinking, like, is this the end of the Dabbleverse? There's a lot of those. I mean, people are always saying this is dead, whatever a new thing is, and then more people
They're gonna make
join
it
it.
to February 2nd or 3rd.
Well,
If there's a convention, it's not dead.
Or is the convention the end of it? That's what I'm trying to say. Is the convention the last hurrah of the Dabbleverse? And Brian, I can't get you to go. Matt, what are you doing in February? You wanna drive up to Rochester with me?
I will be busy putting together the latest episode of Mondo Creepy.
You guys suck.
I'm not saying no. I'm just saying
That's a big trip for me to go all the way up to Rhode Island.
What do you think? I live in New Hampshire or something like that? It's like an hour more for me or for you than me.
Probably 2 hours more.
All right, so let's watch a Fred cameo. We'll end it on that. Fred was on Cameo.
This is Fred the Elephant Boy. Finally, after all this years, months, days, hours, century, whatever, I am finally on Cameo. So, if you want me to give...
I mean, I'm just dying at the fact that it comes with the captions, and the captions are completely wrong. I'm finally on Chemical, it says.
Only $33. That's a good deal.
I was just going to say, he's a reasonably priced guy. But, I mean, this was probably back a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that. That's the $9 one.
And shout out about the greeting and for the greeting. Whatever you need, you just select me, and I'm as good as gold. Thank you.
I mean, how great is that? Rest in peace, Fred.
Yeah.
I mean,
truer words were never spoken.
And if you also look at these cameos that he did for $33, which is a steal on Cameo, 5 minutes, 7 minutes. You know, I guess his average length is 3 minutes and 28 seconds. That's most of the cameos, because we did a bunch. I mean, wait, I have one right here I can play if it's not super loud. Hold on 1 second. Somebody might have to say something. Here it is.
Hi, this is Stuttering John Melendez from the Howard Stern Show. And for some really stupid reason, you're listening.
Insufferable bastards.
Great name for a podcast, morons.
Thank you, John. But
why didn't he say he was from the Tonight Show?
You know, yeah, that's a good question. I think with that one though,
I knew he was on the Tonight Show.
That's what I would think. But also, I sent him. That was a script. That was exactly what I sent him. And then at the end of it, he tagged on the same jokes he's doing today about how he has hemorrhoids, and when he wipes his butt, it's like a cherry ice cream sandwich or something like that. So I cut all that out and just kept it to my original script. But anyway, guys, it's been an hour.
Hey, I'm glad we did this.
So am I.
We did a better tribute than Howard Stern did, which was a goddamn crying shame that he did not blow out the bells and whistles for Fred.
And he's just, I mean, if he didn't do it for Gilbert Gottfried, he can't
I was just about to say that.
I know, but there was just, and again, maybe he can't do a proper tribute because maybe they're not even going to play these clips like this anymore.
He can do whatever he wants. It's his show.
I know, but it made me miss Fred a lot this week, and it made me go back to listen to a lot of old shows.
All right. So thank you to Kinky Loco. I'm sorry we had technical difficulties there, but I mean, I guess he's Joe Got a Twitter is Kinky Loco's Twitter. And also, you know, he is an OG member of Dabblers Anonymous. Those every day, the advent calendar that was posted leading up to Christmas, that was that guy. That was Kinky Loco.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's dedication.
He's very funny in chats. Personally, anytime he sees me in a chat and he's a moderator, he automatically puts me into timeout, which, you know, I don't hold against him, but he's a good troll as well. So I'm sorry it didn't work out, but we'll, and also he's a Howard Stern expert.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we were having communication issues there, but I think he has also like, I can't remember anything. He remembers everything, but I'm glad, Brian, we had you here to guide us through that. And thanks for taking the time to do that. And I guess for Matt Maisto, Mondo Creepy, where can people find? I guess, you know what I should have done? I apologize. We're doing this on StreamYard. Look what I could have been doing the whole time. YouTube.com/Mondo Creepy.
Next time I'll set up my TV with all my pertinent info going over and over again.
Since I'm going to edit this, I'll throw it in at the beginning of the video. But when's the next one going to be on Mondo Creepy?
We shoot next weekend, and then hopefully sometime in February, you will see it.
All right.
YouTube and OSI 74.
And a totally clear Mondo Creepy right now on this podcast. Thank you so much for
Because I'm a
upgrading your-
professional.
Take that, Aaron. I do have, Matt, did you listen to the episode that we did in response to that? I don't know if you
I
heard
did.
that.
I listened to all of it.
I can't find it right now. It's not pervert audio. Oh, here it is. Anyway, so Matt, don't start vaping.
No.
This is right. Come on. Look how talented we are. All right. So for Brian, for Matt at Mondo Creepy, I'm Carlos Danger, and this was the Insufferable Bastards. See you next week.